Welcome to BigCountryPreps.com. I'm Evan Wren, and this is the Countdown to Two-A-Days series, our daily look at an area football team and the key questions we're going to be answering about that team on our Saturday, August 14th preseason preview here at Big Country Preps. I'm with my partner, Dan Youngblood, via Zoom. And tonight, Dan, one of the more interesting stories of the year in the Big Country, the Sweetwater Mustangs and first-year coach Russell Lucas, who has shifted over from the Hamlin Pied Pipers to take over a Class 4A program. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, the Mustangs are one of several teams in the area this year with a new coach, but theirs is one we're very familiar with. Coach Lucas coming over from Hamlin, where he had a ton of success, and he's going to have a good group to work with here at Sweetwater with 21 lettermen, including 5 offensive and 8 defensive starters. This from an 8-2 team. So I don't think there's any reason to expect that Sweetwater won't continue to build on the success they've experienced in recent years under Coach Ben McGehee.
If I'm going to classify this ball club, the Sweetwater Ball Club, I would say small but very, very quick. And you know what that's reminiscent of, Dan?
Hamlin.
The Hamlin teams that Russell Lucas was coaching for years. I mean, he made the most of small, quick football teams. And one thing to keep an eye on too is the fact that they do have 8 returning starters on defense. Russell's a defensive-minded guy. He likes to get in that 3-4 defense of his and find inventive ways of stopping people, even if it's an undersized defense. So it's going to be interesting to see his defense matched up with some of these Class 4A offenses. In particular, Stephenville, who Sweetwater starts off with to open the season on the road.
Yeah, I think the defense should definitely be improved with those 8 returning starters back. And I'm excited to watch that offense where you've got one of the area's most accomplished quarterbacks in Leo Halsey, a kid who passed for over 2,200 yards and 31 touchdowns to go with almost 1,000 yards rushing. And then a really solid back in Cedric Brown, who ran for almost 600 yards. And then one of the area's most explosive receivers in Harrison Foster. So a lot of talent on both sides of the football for Coach Lucas and his staff to work with. And I think this will be a very competitive Sweetwater team.
All right, let's take a quick look at this Sweetwater schedule for 2021. Some interesting ball games, some interesting matchups, especially early on that pre-district schedule. There are some opportunities for Sweetwater to get some momentum before jumping into district, and there's some tests in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're starting a season at Stephenville and at Jim Ned, that's going to be a tough start to the season. Stephenville lost some skill guys from last year's team. They're probably not going to be quite as explosive offensively, but that's a quality program, very competitive year in and year out. And then Jim Ned's a defending state champion, so that that one's going to be a challenge. After that game, I think that you got an opportunity to really have some success, get some wins, take some momentum into district, which I think will be important, particularly when you're facing a really good Midland Greenwood team in the second week of district and a rival Snyder in the first week.
All right, game of the year for Sweetwater as you see it. I've got mine picked.
I think it's that Greenwood game. I think that's going to be the one that decides that district championship. October 15th, a big game on the road. It's going to be, I think, the one that really decides things in that league.
I think that's an obvious pick, and I don't disagree with you, but I'll tell you, that Snyder football game, that Snyder football team that's coming in on October the 8th, Snyder is going to be much better than it was last year. And that's just, if I'm Sweetwater, that game is a big concern for me. That's going to be an important ball game for Sweetwater. That district opener at home against Snyder on October the 8th, that's a scary ball game because Snyder is going to take a step forward this year. But if Sweetwater takes care of business, the Greenwood game is really going to be for all the marbles.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point because that is a rivalry game, and it has been competitive in recent years. We've seen upsets or near upsets in that series really frequently over the years. So that'll be that district opener against Snyder will be a big one. I think Sweetwater will take care of business, and I think it's going to set up a really fun game against Greenwood in that second week of district.
All right, that's just about going to wrap things up for tonight's episode of the Countdown to Two-A-Days series, the Sweetwater Mustangs. But we want to remind you that on Saturday, August the 14th, Big Country Preps will be releasing its preseason football preview, where we'll be answering all the key questions about Sweetwater and every other team in the area. We're going to be more thorough and more accurate than any other media source in the area when it comes to Big Country football. Nobody's going to beat us.
In the meantime, thank you for checking out this episode of our Countdown to Two-A-Days series. And make sure you join us again tomorrow when we will be highlighting the Big Spring Steers here at BigCountryPreps.com.